Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Call me Mr. Tibbs.
Bazinga!
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I would like to apologize to my fans, all 6 of you. It has been a while, I know, but having returned to work post-zombie apocalypse, it's been way too busy to get anything else done. But now I have my routine settled, so it's time to get some new reviews on the YouTube channel. We're going to start with this week's review of Black Widow, having opened last week on July 9th. As always, your mad expert, me, Michael Menza, will be bringing you my take on the good, the bad, and all the rest that this movie has to offer. Hang on to the very end for a bonus mini review. Let's begin with the good. As always, I'll start with the amazing cast. Marvel Films have brought together some of the best talent on the planet to give us some of the best entertainment out there. And of course, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff is no exception. Okay, yes, I do have a crush on her, but who doesn't? Seriously, who doesn't? Plus, I love me some David Harbour as Alexei the Red Guardian. And of course, I've also had a crush on Rachel Weisz, long before I had one on Scarlett Johansson. But the breakout star here is Florence Pugh, Pug, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, as Yelena. She almost steals the movie. Her dry delivery of some of the wittiest lines in the dialogue is fun to watch. This is at its core an action spy movie, formulaic in the tradition of James Bond. I've said this before, formula films are not a bad thing, especially if done right, like they do with this one. There is the usual megalomaniacal villain out to change the world, and the epic battle that tears apart his hidden lair at the end. But there is also a family story at the heart of this film that has some emotional gravitas and addresses an issue that has been tackled over and over again about what exactly makes up a family. Now, I like how they handle it here. We all know the message, we've seen it before, but the chemistry of the 4 main actors and their characters jumps off the screen and really drives it all home. It's what turns what might have been another simple schlock fest into a film with personality and soul. Now, as with any typical Marvel film, there is the usual amount of action. And while it is visually stunning and most of the fights are well choreographed, it does bring me to the bad. It's a superhero movie, and some of the action does get a little bit over the top. Look, I understand when Steve Rogers, Captain America, flips over the vehicle he's in a couple of times, or crash lands his plane onto an iceberg, then survives because he's been injected with a super soldier serum. I get it when a man with the proportionate strength of a spider has a building fall on him and survives. He's more than just human. But alas, someone who's supposed to be merely human, as Natasha is, well, I have a little trouble with some of her death-defying leaps of logic in this film. It was one of the reasons that Brosnan's last outing as James Bond, was not so well received. I mean, we didn't need so many bullet-dodging moments. Yes, I get it. Natasha's a super spy that has been trained for super fights, but look, you'll watch it, you'll understand. For some people, the long stretches of dialogue and exposition may be problematic, but I enjoyed that. So, if you're hoping for a typical non-stop action adventure, you will be disappointed. I mean, they forego some of the crash, bang, boom for witty dialogue and thought-provoking situations. I applaud that. As to the main plot, if you've seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service or James Coburn's In Like Flint, you will recognize this story. The writers of this film, Jack Schaefer and Ned Benson, have lifted those plots directly and basically fed us a retread. Go watch one of those 2 films and you'll recognize the plot. I mean, the utter lack of originality endangered the end product and almost lost me as a fan. Furthermore, why did it take so long to make this film? It takes place right in the middle of the Marvel Universe storyline, the one that ends with Endgame. Someone should have made it back in 2016 when it takes place. Because it's a flashback film, the tension is strained at best. We know the fate of the Black Widow, so the expository story here feels like it's too little, too late. It would have served us much better had it been inserted in the proper part of the timeline. Those of you that have seen this already will say, but that will make the post-credit sequence confusing or unnecessary. Yes, there is a post-credit sequence. I'm okay with that. We could put that sequence anywhere else in the Marvel Universe to fill the gap that it represents and give us something else for post-credits. It also robs us of more Yelena Belova and Red Guardian that we should have had in Infinity Wars and Endgame. Had this film been in the right spot, we would have gotten more of those characters. The rest, applause to Kate Shortland, the director who helms this project. She knows how to deliver an action sequence with excitement, tempering them with the emotional subplot. She also knows how to get some of the best performance out of those actors in those moments where it's required. Let's get some more Kate in future projects. My final rating: if you are a Marvel Comics fan, like so many of us are, then by all means, go see it on the big screen with the full movie theater experience. But you don't need to. It's not worth shelling out extra shekels for IMAX or 3D. In fact, on my scale of how you should watch it, you could even wait to catch it on a matinee showing. It's entertaining, it's well made, but no reason to be in a big hurry to watch it. As promised, I'm going to include a bonus mini review of the Marvel miniseries currently streaming on that entertainment juggernaut, Disney Plus. I recently took advantage of the Prime Day sale to get some good deals on a Fire TV stick, among other things, and I learned that the Fire TV stick 4K came with 3 free months of Disney Plus. 3. I don't know which fingers to hold up. So I went down that rabbit hole, and holy smokes, that library is huge. There is so much content going back 70 years, I might be forced to keep it past the 3-month free trial. But more to the point, if you are a Disney Plus subscriber, you probably started tuning in to watch the 6-part miniseries, say it with me, Loki. What a delight this is. I am a big Tom Hiddleston fan. And despite the fact that while Loki was responsible for so much tragedy and so many crimes in the Marvel Universe, Hiddleston's take on the character does make it an entertaining watch. The mini good, Hiddleston and Owen Wilson have that great film chemistry. The writing is sharp and witty, and I found every episode thoroughly enjoyable. My favorite was one which brought together all the Lokis from multiple timelines and universes. I got a glimpse of why the God of Mischief is called the God of Mischief. Speaking of mischief, this animal is just going to interfere with everything, aren't you? You know what? Oops. Unfortunately, there is a mini bad. The initial premise offered up on the show that there is a group of Time Lords monitoring the timeline in making sure that it stays on track so the destiny goes in the direction it's supposed to go gives me 2 problems. 1, it removes the idea that free will exists, which I always have a problem with. Secondly, it completely negates everything that the Sorcerer Supreme said in Avengers Endgame. She gives a clear map of what happens to the timeline, and this miniseries opening episodes completely disregards all that. Which brings me to the mini rest. Okay, let's face it. That completely awful premise could mean one of 2 things. And Marvel tends to overuse the let's fool the audience into thinking we're giving them one thing when really giving them something else. This is a new cinematic trope that they have created and we don't really need in this series. I like this one. And my final mini rating, absolutely 100% watch this show. They do solve the issues that I had with the premise, which was satisfying. And if you're a Marvel fan who has not subscribed to Disney Plus yet, then you're not really a Marvel fan, are you? This should be the reason, among the hundreds of others, for you to break open the piggy bank and finally pay the monthly fee for Disney Plus. After reviewing their library, I regret to admit, it may very well be worth the expense. And I hate to spend money. But, as always, I have been your Mad Expert, Michael Menza, coming to you from all of the Mad Expert multiverses. Holy smokes, look at this mess. Where is Loki when I need him? Where?